I love the quote where it's the difference between a winner and a dreamer is just one kept going. I was born overseas. I grew up in the country of South Korea to a single mom. Being mixed race, I'm half Korean and half American, and just growing up, we really felt that, you know? We ended up losing our house in a house fire, and because of that, I went into Korea's version of foster care. And so I was in and out of orphanages at a very young age, but it just really got to a point where she made a tough decision where my best opportunity at life would be where I could potentially get adopted to a country like the US. I remember when I was 6, just being really confused, but I do remember this specific moment where God gave me peace, that He had a plan for my life. And about 6 months later, this American couple came through, and they really felt like they needed to take this kid home. I remember just like being welcomed by so many friendly faces at the airport. I remember thinking like, this is home now. We grew up in the suburbs of Chicago. My senior year of high school, I was deciding where to go to school and just looking at different colleges, and I always got drawn to this place called Azusa Pacific. When I had the opportunity to tour APU, immediately I knew this is where I need to be. I got accepted and just got really involved at APU. I was involved as an alpha leader. I was involved as a resident advisor. I think God has always given me a heart for people at risk or kids at risk. I had the opportunity to intern at this place downtown called the Dream Center. I went on an outreach with them. And outreach is where they go and they talk to youth on the street, mostly runaway girls who are caught in human trafficking. And it was one of those moments where I just felt like God was showing me that this is something that He wanted me to be involved in. And I knew that APU could be a great place to be a leader in this cause. And so the thing that made the most sense was starting a club. And so Free the Captives started my freshman year. And by the time I left senior year, we were the second largest club on campus. And it's the greatest honor to walk back on campus and see that Free the Captives is alive and well. And just being involved at APU and creating that community, I was able to kind of realize what my true talents were, the ideas of art, the aspects of being a leader. Because of that, APU became such a great place for me, and I was able to truly walk into I think the man that God was calling me to be. So I always knew I wanted to reunite with my mom. Post APU, I didn't have any money, but I sold my car, bought airplane tickets. She was living in Japan at the time, and we were able to reunite. One of the best moments of my life, and to this day we have a great relationship. I ended up staying overseas for about 2 years, and we really got to catch up on lost time. And during that time, I was working as a photographer, and one of the events that I was shooting at ended up being a fashion show. And it was the first time for me where I realized, I think this is something that I want to be a part of. I think this is what I want to do. And I came back to Los Angeles and got to work. Walked into some manufacturers downtown and again offered just my time. I asked if I could just learn from them, and they took me in and I became an intern. I was able to work under a great brand called Pure God and this designer named Jerry Lorenzo, and taking all those experiences from people in the industry that I've been blessed to work under has really shaped who I am today and what that looks like. And then COVID hit, and from there I realized like this was an amazing opportunity to take what I've learned and springboard into this dream that I had of becoming a designer. And I approached different hospitals in Los Angeles and asked if I could help design their protective gear for the frontline workers. And we got our first couple POs, which were able to officially start Castles and Queens. And it really kind of came from this idea that we belong to this new kind of royalty. The idea that God sees us as, kings and queens. And so Castles and Queens was just my message to the world as an artist. And we've been blessed with the opportunity to be in a New York Fashion Week, and most recently we just made Forbes 30 under 30 for art and style. It means the world when you walk into the moments that you have seen in your head for such a long time. I think APU was an amazing experience for myself. I look back and it really was kind of the beginning of my character development for who I am and what I'm supposed to be doing.